This year I embarked on a massive journey. I joined quite a large coaching program this year with the intention to deepen my skills as a coach, to serve on an even deeper level. And I remember when I got that intuitive calling to sign up, and I just felt it in my body, like I just knew that this was the next step for me. This was the thing that I had to do. And I had a very similar feeling when I did my BBTRS, my breathwork training. There was just this knowing that this is what I've got to do, and I got to find a way to make it work. And when I have that intuitive calling, I always find a way. Whether I think I can do it financially or there's all these objections of why I can't do it, I always find a way because I just know that in my soul that this is what I've got to do. And so I signed up for this year-long training, and it has been mind-blowing. I have learned a bucket load, but it has also been really challenging, like taking on such a huge workload. Like there was really like a commitment of a minimum like 16 hours a week to do this program for an entire year. And in the moment I was like, yeah, I can do that. But then in the reality, it's like, wow, that's actually a lot when you're managing a business and you're a mama and you've got so many different things on. So I really had to learn how to manage my time effectively and my energy. And there are a few ways that I did this that I would really love to share with you, because I hear it all the time, how overwhelmed people are with the amount that's on their plate. And we get so overwhelmed that we actually start to leak energy, and then it makes it even harder, if not impossible, to actually get what we need done. And so I had to get really clear on what my priorities were, and I had to make it a consistent practice to clear my plate. Because what I found, like I remember sharing with a client a visual that I had when I was helping them with a similar challenge. And I remember seeing this, like, in my mind, this roast dinner plate with, like, all this roast dinner on this plate. And it was so, like, overloaded that all the green peas were falling off the plate. And I could see myself, like, trying to catch all these green peas that were falling off. And I was so distracted by trying to catch all the green peas that I was missing out on the actual roast dinner. And so these green peas are really signaling all those little things that we think are important that are actually just distracting us from what's actually important, what's actually the priority. And so I've had to make it that consistent practice of clearing off the plate what's just not actually a priority. My mind is telling me, no, this is important, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And we distract ourselves from doing the actual thing that's going to shift our lives. That's like the internal work, or it's the big thing that we're kind of putting off that's actually going to change something, that's actually the priority, and we distract ourselves. And that's when we become overwhelmed, because these things continue to get not done, but then the list keeps getting longer and there's more to-dos every day, and we're just like, we look at all the things we think we have to do and we just get so overwhelmed by it all. And so what I started to do was actually I put everything down on a master list, like everything I thought I had to do. And I started to prioritize and rank what was actually important, what was the priority, what was urgent, and what wasn't. And distinguishing where it was best to invest my energy, where I was going to get the results that I was actually looking for. And this really helped me to really prioritize my study whilst also maintaining the business and also being the best mama that I could possibly be. And then also finding that time for my partner, finding that time for me. So I had to be really strategic with my time and with my energy. And so what I did, I want to share with you what I did, and then I want to share with you how you can start to implement this. So for me, I made the boundary with myself that I was going to have a maximum of 3 priorities per day. We tend to make these master lists, like we write everything down that we've got to do, and we think we've got to do it in a day, we think we've got to do it in a week, and it's just not possible. There's just so much stuff. And so I gave myself that maximum 3 priorities. It had to be the most important things, which are usually the things that we procrastinate the most on and that we don't want to do. And so they're the ones that you get done first. And there's this really cool book called Eat That Frog, I believe it's called, and it's about tackling that task that you're most procrastinating at, because we it tends to be out of our comfort zone, but we know that's the thing that's going to shift what we're wanting to shift. After this, it's like what I came to realize, this was more of a recent thing, because I was still like, I had my priorities, but I was finding myself like shifting from different task to different task. And so what happens is you get into a flow state with the task that you're in, and then when you shift into a new task that's unrelated from that other task, it actually takes time and energy to transition. And so because I was switching from so many tasks, I was actually losing time and energy in between that switch. And this was really mind-blowing to me when I found this out. And so what I decided to do was create segments. And so especially with my work, it was like having one segment at the start of the day, because I'm more of a morning person. So it was like, for an example, first thing in the morning, I was doing my emails, or I was doing all of my content creation, or all of my social media. And I was doing it like in batch form, so I could just focus on that. Or maybe I was focusing on creating something specific for the business, like a landing page or whatever it might be. There's many different tasks that I focus on in the business, but it was like having that segment where it's like a 2 to 3 hour block where I'm just focusing on one main task, and that's where my energy is going. And then after that segment, I would have a break, and I would spend time with my son and take care of me. And I would just allow myself to really recharge in that time. And then I would have a second segment, which again, it wasn't moving from task to task to task to task. It wasn't like, okay, 3 hours of just random work. It was a specific task that was in alignment where I could enter that flow state and just flow with it. And then I would just allow myself like 2 segments in the day, and then my work was finished, other than if I had any client calls. And then I would have like a study segment in the afternoon. So I would actually have these break periods. So I'd have my early morning segment, then I'd have like an hour and a half, 2 hour break. Then I'd have my second segment of the morning, like that kind of late morning. Then by lunchtime, I'd be having another break until the early afternoon around 3 o'clock, where I'd do my study. And so having this plan in place was really supportive for me. It's finding what works for you, but that's what I found was really helpful for me. But then amongst that, so in those break times, I really had to be mindful of recharging my energy, of doing my self-care practices, my meditation, my yoga, the internal work as things were arising, as they always do. I've shared with you guys many times, the healing journey is a constant one. And so it's really taking that time for self-care, because that's where you're filling up your cup so that you've got the energy to tackle the things that you feel like you need to do in the day, rather than just getting to the end of the day and you're completely depleted and exhausted and you've got nothing left, and then you're like dreading the next day trying to tackle that master list again. And then it was like getting clear at the end of the day, like what's happening tomorrow? What are the priorities tomorrow? What's on the list for that? And going through that master list and connecting to, okay, what's actually the most important and the most urgent? And really by taking some time to really get clear on what is it that you think you got to do every day. Like write down that master list for you and actually look at it and realize, I think one of the most powerful things of that practice is actually seeing all the things on your to-do list and being like, well, that's a lot of stuff for anyone. And then we start to take the pressure of ourselves, because we can actually see it like, well, that's a lot. And then we get clear on like, well, where is that coming from? Why do I think I got to do all these things? And why do I think I got to do them all on my own? Is there a way that I can get support from this and help like from someone else to help me with this to-do list? Are these things on the list actually essential? Do I have to do all of these things, or am I distracting myself from something else? Because I know for me, and I know for many of my clients, being busy is a way to distract from what's beneath. So the emotions, the hurts, the limiting beliefs, the stories we're telling about ourselves, all the pain of the past that's unresolved. A lot of the time when we are being overly busy, we're distracting ourselves from a deeper pain. So when you start to clear the plate, you might actually find that you've created space for some of these things to surface, which is why we tend to not clear the plate. But by clearing the plate and then allowing those things to surface, you can start to heal and integrate, and then you liberate more energy. You find yourself, you have more time, more energy, more spaciousness, more presence, more ability to love and to receive love, and to actually live a life where you're thriving and get to enjoy your loved ones and enjoy your life and actually live it. So the question really is, do you want to keep being busy for the rest of your life? Do you want to get to the end of your life and be like, yep, I did well, I was really busy, I did a lot of stuff, I tackled a lot of to-dos? Or do you want to get to the end of your life and be like, wow, I actually lived it? So that's a really powerful question. And if it's the latter of like, you know what, I actually want to live my life and enjoy it and enjoy the people that are in it, this is a really powerful practice for you to make it a discipline and a commitment to clear that plate and get really clear on what's actually a priority to you. Is it a priority to get all of these things on the to-do list, or is it more of a priority to spend time with your family? Is it more of a priority to heal the wounds from the past and stop those generational cycles? Is it more of a priority to study and start a business and do something, like achieve something that you're really passionate about? What is your priority? And then that big vision will actually be your guiding force that will allow you to have more clarity around what on the to-do list is actually important. What on the to-do list is actually going to get you to your big vision. If you don't have that big vision, we just tend to keep playing small and doing all these tasks that we think are important, but actually they're just distractions. So take some time. You may want to listen to this video again and really take the time to get clear on what is your big vision, what are your priorities, and then start to actually create a plan that is sustainable and supportive for you in a way of getting the things you need to get done, but also taking care of you and taking the time to be present and connect with those that you love. This is how we actually get to thrive in all areas of life rather than just one. Because often we'll focus on one area thinking, just got to get all these things done and then I can have that. I got to do all the things in the business and then I'll have more time for the family. Once I earn this amount of money, then I'll have time for me or the family or for that holiday or whatever. What if you could have it all right now? And all you need to do is actually start to be really strategic with your time and with your energy. So that's my message for you today. I hope this was very helpful. I trust that you received exactly what was needed. I would really love to hear from you and any feedback and any questions you have so that I can really support you on a deeper level. So I love to answer your questions and really support you in a personalized way. So reach out, send me an email, reach out to me on socials and let me know what's resonating for you. What do you want to hear about? What do you need support with? And just know that I'm here, sending you so much love and so much gratitude.